What's up, Heartland Church? It's Pastor Jeff with a weekly announcement video. I hope that everybody's doing well. I know that we've had a lot of sickness going through the body and through St. Louis at large, and it's a good reminder for us to be continue to pray for each other as we deal with some of these ailments. You can hear my voice is still yet to come back. The Lord is being very kind to me and teaching me patience with my voice. But yeah, hope you are doing well. Hey, couple things. So if you were here last weekend, Rob Rash was with us. That's an important thing because there are 4 church plants that we actually actively financially support right now as a church. And Rob is one of our church planters in Troy, Missouri. We love to have our church planters out once a year to be able to preach the word so that they can, you can know them, see their families, they can be in front of our body. And so it's really good to have Rob here. Rob started the conversation from the last section of Romans chapter 14 about what it looks like for us to actually walk in love with one another in a way where we're not judging and showing self-righteousness like we talked about in the previous section, but also in a way so we can operate in the freedoms that Christ has given us. But we also need to understand what it looks like to lay down those freedoms and those rights for the benefit of those around us. So what I'm going to do this weekend is we're going to actually close out Romans chapter 14, and I'm going to talk through that in a little greater detail, digging specifically on this idea of Christian freedom and what that really means. Does that mean that I got a bunch of stuff that I can do now because Christ has freed me from the law and given me all these liberties? So I can do a bunch of things that gratify my flesh and serve me? Or does it mean that I've got access to these things that I can now do, and now I have the freedom to lay those things down for the benefit of people around me? We're going to dig on that topic a little bit this weekend and talk further about that. I think it's going to be really important for our body, important for unity, and so I hope that you can be a part of that conversation. The one big challenge that I would think, or that I would put on your radar this week as you think about announcements or what's coming up is we want to make sure that everybody at Heartland Church, regardless of whether you're a member or you're a regular attender or whether you're just sort of checking things out, there's a place for you to plug in and serve within our body. And there are some pretty significant needs. That's part of the cool thing about being a part of a church replant is there's lots of needs as we're growing. And one of the most significant needs that we have right now is in our children's ministry. Now, I've had this conversation over the last few weeks with several people talking about, if you think about it, I cannot imagine a greater use of time, energy, abilities, gifting than to sow the gospel into the lives of the next generation. Like, there's this dynamic. If you have kids, you know this, but when kids are young, like they look at adults, they look at their parents, and they're like, "Oh, you're like the greatest thing ever." Like their parents are their heroes, adults, so amazing. And then they become teenagers, and all of a sudden, adults become the dumbest people on the face of the earth. Like there's this void in teenage years that can happen, and then, of course, once they become adults, they're out on their own. All of a sudden, you're smart again. And I was just thinking about this. There's a great need for us working with teenagers through the decisions that they're making, trying to figure out who they are, what their identity is, what the purpose of life is. Those are important conversations. So I don't want to diminish that. But if you think about kids ministry, you cannot want for a better environment to sow the gospel in a way that makes a difference, because these kids are like sponges, and the ability to go in and teach them and lead them on Sunday mornings or on Sunday nights as we teach them good theology, catechism learning, we point them to Jesus. It's an incredible opportunity. So I'm just going to say this, like, if you want your life to make a difference in how you serve, there's a lot of ways you can serve, but investing in the lives of kids will make an incredible difference. So it's something to pray about and seek the Lord on. And so I would encourage you to do that, because we need people who can come in. We need people certainly who can hold babies, but we also need some good volunteers to come along and assist our teachers. But we need people who can teach. who can take good curriculum that we have and invest that in the lives of children. So I would encourage you to pray about that. Lots of opportunities in our kids ministry. Of course, youth ministry is also important and all the other ministries, but we want to help you find a place to serve at Heartland Church. So if we can do that, certainly reach out to us, and we'd love to help you get connected in that way. All right, have a great rest of your weekend. Hope to see you on Sunday. Love you guys. Thanks so much.